Hello, this is Mr. Ellis. I'm going to give a demo concerning the setTimeout and setInterval methods that we discussed in last class. Going to use, of course, HTML and JavaScript. The HTML is rather simple, so I'll go over that first. Okay, as you can see, I have a script, setTimeout script.js, which is open. Okay, and I have a tag that centers an image on the page, and I will first demo what this script is going to do before I go over the script. But this is the layout, a centered image on the page. So I'm going to go here and reload this page, and you can see that it goes from image to image. There's 3 images on the page, and it cycles through those images. Let me do it again. 1, 2, 3. It cycles through those images, and as the last image appears, I can now use an event, the mouse over event, that will change the image. Okay. As I demonstrated this in class, I said that there are many events that we will cover, and the mouse over or the flicking of an image is one that is pretty familiar. Now, having seen what the script does, let us take a look at the JavaScript that makes it happen. Okay, JavaScript here is really easy. I have 3 functions, one for on mouse over, one for on mouse out, and one for the banner change. Okay, the banner change is done with a mechanism or method called setTimeout. setTimeout calls a function, new banner, in this case this banner, which makes it a recursive function, every 3 seconds. As a rule, you'll say every 1,000 seconds in this method is equal to 1 second. Every 1,000 milliseconds, sorry, is equal to 1 second of real time. Okay, so the setTimeout is assigned to done. That's because I have the interval ID. Okay, once I get the interval ID, if it's the count in the cycle is greater than 2, I turn it off, because if I don't turn it off, it will continue forever. Okay, and what I'll do is I simply I'm gonna comment this out and show you why I have it in there. As I reload this, did I save it? Let's go back and save. No, I didn't save, so I'm going to save. And as I run it, you'll see that instead of stopping after the 3 have been displayed, it continues. And it'll continue like this forever until I shut it off with the clear interval statement. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to take that comment out, save my script again, and as I reload, you'll see that it will show the 3 images and simply stop. Okay. Now, that is the use of the setTimeout. It will cycle through, and every 3 seconds it will call this function. This function will display the image. It changes the images based upon the value of the this add. Okay. where do I get the images? The images are held in an array. This array has 3 images, and as it cycles through, it uses this add as a subscript for the images, okay? And this add is incremented each time through the loop. Okay, so the first time it's called, this add is set to 1, or yes, it's at 0, it's set to 1. Then it goes through 2, then it goes 2, and 2 is greater than the image count, so it then sets it back to 0. Okay, and would continue that if not for the clear interval statement. Okay. Now, what causes the on mouse over change and on mouse out change is in the JavaScript. So I'm going to go back to back to the HTML. And in the HTML, you can see on mouse over calls over change. And when I take the mouse out, on mouse out will call the out change. These two methods are simple. We know how to do this. We use a document.getElement by ID, and the attribute that we change is the source attribute in the image, the source attribute in the image tag. The source attribute defines which image is to be displayed, and I simply change the image. On mouse over, on mouse out, I change to a different image. And to demonstrate that again, the mouse is currently out. I touch it, it's over. Out, over, out, over. It's called an image flip, and that is a kind of standard way to do that. Next, we'd like to take a look at a effect that is accomplished again with one of those methods. This method is the SetInterval method that does the same thing. It calls a method based upon a time frame in milliseconds. The HTML you see here is a simple HTML. It has one image, and the image is not styled or set in a header, or set in a section. It is simply placed in the upper left hand corner of the starts in the upper left hand corner of the document. Okay, now we'll look at this script after I demo. The demonstration is it travels. This is a simple animation. It travels 300 megapixels to this point, then it goes back. Okay, now this will repeat again until I clear the interval. It will repeat over and over again. Okay, how is it accomplished? Let's look at the script. The script here says that this function move image is going to be called, this is an anonymous function, no name, move image is going to be called when the page starts. Okay, and this offset is going to be used. I started at 0. The offset is incremented inside the function. Don't worry so much about these statements, because these statements are what we call jQuery, and jQuery is in your future. Okay, jQuery says take this ID and offset it using when we use position, we have two attributes, left and top. Okay, using the left, the offset, whatever that may be, starting at 0. And then immediately following that, use the top attribute and set it to the offset. So if it's 0, it starts at 0, 0. As it's incremented, it goes 1. It goes 1 to 1, boom. 2 to 2, boom. You can see it moving through those values. Let's start at 0 here, Mr. Ellis. Let it jump back. See it? You can see it moving through those attributes. Now it moves in this direction, and I limited it to, I think it was 300 pixels. So it's sitting in a 300 pixel box. Okay, so when the offset is greater than 300, we jump back to 0. Okay, now it runs forever until I uncomment this clear interval. The clear interval is set with stop. Down here, when I call a set interval, I'm calling move the image, which is the function. And then I am doing that for, if we say that each 1,000 is a second, it is a 30 milliseconds. Okay, so it is really a small interval, so it is called over and over again really rapidly. And as it is called, each time it's called, I get a value in stop Z that is its interval ID. And if I was to uncomment this statement right here, which I will, go back to the actual effort and reload it, you'll see that once it reaches that 300 pixel limit, it will simply stop and not jump back. So that's the way we control it, keep it from being an infinite loop, is to use the stop clear interval, the clear interval, in this case the stop Z, the clear interval statement that will end the recursion. This has been Mr. Ellis talking about setTimeout and setInterval, chapter 10 in your book.